Hey guys, it's Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern, and we're back here at our main screen because today we're going to be opening packs again. That's right, about a whole lot of packs with all the gold I saved up. Being a free-to-play player, I skipped Crimson Vow and bought as many Kamigawa packs as I could, about 50 of them. We opened a whole bunch last video, and we're just going to keep doing that this video. So let's go ahead and break off into it. Open our first pack. Alright, we get a gold wild card. And first up is a 2-mana 2/2 trample. Kamigawa the Transients. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Kamigawa the Transients. At the beginning of each end step, if an enchantment was put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn, you may return Kamigawa the Transients from your graveyard to your hand. That is not bad. It can bring itself back. It gets bigger. It has trample. It's a 2-mana 2/2. Not a bad package. Let's see what else we got. Alright, looks like we also got a Rabbit Battery. 1 mana, 1/1 haste. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. A reconfigure for 1 red. That's pretty cheap. They're pretty good equipment. Ooh, and then we open up another 2 mana 2/2. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Whenever Ogrehead Helm or an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. If you do, discard your hand and then draw 3 cards. Reconfigure for 3. Not bad. Not bad. If you have less than 3 cards in your hand, then you're drawing plus cards. So that's really good. This is really good late game for red. I like it. Moving on. Next, we have a gold wild card. We'll take it. Then, ooh, 2 mana 2/2 for Goro Goro. We've already opened one of these in our last video, but since it's not this video, we'll go ahead and look at it. A Goro Goro, Disciple of Riese. Pay 1 red. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. That's your whole team. You can pay 5 to create a 5/5 Red Dragon Spirit creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if you control an attacking modified creature. Not bad. Not bad. Moving right along. Okay, we have a Biting Palm Ninja, a 3 mana 3/3 with Ninjutsu 3. Enters the battlefield with a menace counter on it. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a menace counter from it. If you do, the player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from it and exile that card. This is really good. This is premium. This is excellent. This is everything you want it to do in a ninja deck. Coming down with menace makes it really good. Being able to remove that menace counter to get something out of their hand, you get to choose. It's great. Really good card. A lot of value. Next up, we are looking at an Invoke Despair. That is 4 black mana and 1 colorless. That's 5 mana for sorcery. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. So they sack out 3 things. If they have 3 things to sack out. If not, you get to draw cards and they lose life. It's okay. I'm not as big on it as you would think. It's okay. That's a kind of a mild effect for 4 black mana. I mean, for 4 black mana, I can play a 5/5 Trample Phyrexian Obliterator in Modern, but that is Modern. So let's keep moving along. Got another gold wild card. We now have a Mokutai Soul Ripper. That is 1 and a black for a 4/3. When it attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on the Soul Ripper and it gains menace until end of turn. We can crew it for 2. It's a vehicle. It's alright. Next up, we have a mirror box. 3 mana. The legend rule doesn't apply to a permanent you control. This is an artifact. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. That is Mirror Box. And then our next rare will be a March of Reckless Joy. It's X and red. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of red cards from your hand. The spell costs 2 colorless less for each card exiled this way. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may play up to 2 of those cards until the end of your next turn. Interesting. You still have to cast the mana for them, but you do get to dig pretty deep. You could just dip your whole hand and get pretty far into your deck to find what you need with this card. It's decent. Sandbagging lands. Get those extra cards you need. Alright, this is a Katos, the Silent Spider. It's a 3 colorless, blue, black, 4/4. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile a target card other than a basic land card from an opponent's graveyard. Search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles. For as long as you control Katos, you may play one of the exiled cards. You may spend mana as though it were any mana color to cast it. So this is a cranial extraction on a body, and it's pretty decent. It's not bad. It's really not bad. Next up, we have Tribute to Roby. 1 in a black. It is a saga, enchantment saga. Each opponent creates a 1/1 black rogue creature token. Try saying that 3 times real fast. And then for its second tick down, each opponent creates a 1/1 black rat rogue creature token. And then for its third ability, it will exile and then come back transformed as a 3/3 flying haste. When Echo of Death's Well enters the battlefield, gain control of all rat tokens. Whenever Echo of Death's Well attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. A little bit of card advantage there. That's got a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm not super impressed by this, but it's okay. Especially since you're giving your opponent those creatures for a little bit. Alright, there we go. Moving right along. We are almost to another mythic rare wild card. Ooh, speaking of mythic. This is 8, 9, 10 mana for an explosive singularity. It's a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may tap any number of untapped creatures you control. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature tapped this way. It deals 10 damage to any target. You can make it cheaper. It deals 10 damage. That's a lot of damage. It does cost 10 mana. It's a lot of creatures to tap down. It's sorcery speed, so the creatures won't be able to block. It's a card. I don't think I'll ever run it, but it's there. And we got that mythic wild card as you saw there. Oh, another mythic. Every time I say mythic, do I get a mythic? That would be nice. This is Kodama of the West Tree. It is 2 colorless and green for a 3/3 reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land and put it on the battlefield, tap, shuffle. It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. If you could just put a +1/+1 counter on this guy, it'll activate both of his abilities. He'll have reach and trample, and he'll be able to fetch you a land every time he hits. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Alright, then we have the Brilliant Restoration, which is 3 colorless and 4 white. Double checking there, just making sure. Sorcery, return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So for 7 mana, 4 of it being white, you get an Open the Vaults, and that's pretty good. Open the Vault's very, very strong. It's symmetrical, and that's why it's cheaper. And that's still a broken card. That can still enable shenanigans. This will be used in this will definitely be used in Commander, and not much in Standard, but maybe. It's an okay spell, but that quadruple white is a killer of a cost. It is so hard. You're never gonna pull that off in a non-mono white deck on curve. Okay, and then we have another Mogadai Soul Ripper. So 2 mana 4/3, the crew 2. You can sacrifice another artifact if you do put a +1/+1 counter on it and gains menace. We've already seen it, so it's no big deal. We're going to move on to the next pack. Alright, we're getting low here on packs. Ooh, an uncommon wild card. Oh, and a mythic wild card for free out of this pack, so we'll take it. Next. Another Hitseku. Hitseku, Devouring Chaos, 4 mana 4/4. Pay 1 black to sacrifice a creature scry 2. Or pay 2 colorless and a red, tap it, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hitseku, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exile card's mana value to any target. That's pretty good. This guy is no slouch. Pretty good guy. The stats are there, the abilities there. Being able to hit any target is really special. Oh, we got Lizard Blades. These are 1 in a red for a 1/1. It has double strike. And you can reconfigure it into an equipment. And the equipped creature has double strike. That's what we're looking for. Alright. Pretty decent piece of equipment. And or creature. We got a gold wild card there. And another gold wild card. So moving on. Next, we have a Eater of Virtue. It's a 1 mana to play. Legendary artifact equipment. 1 to equip. Equipped creature dies, exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as the card exiled with Eater of Virtue has flying, equipped creature has flying. Same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. So the more creatures you exile with this with keywords on them, the more keywords will end up on the creature that gets equipped with this later. If you can just get the +2/+0 and Double Strike on this, this is a fine weapon for 1 mana to play, 1 mana to equip. You just got to make that happen. So it's kind of hit or miss, but it can find its own niche in this meta, maybe. We'll have to see. Next up. Ooh, another Farewell. 6 mana. 4 colorless and 2 white for a sorcery. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts. Exile all creatures. Exile all enchantments. Or exile all graveyards. Or all cards in graveyards. 1 or more. You can do all of that. You can exile all the artifacts, all the creatures, all the enchantments, and all the graveyards. It does not hit planeswalkers, but that's okay. It hits everything else like a hammer. It's good. Definitely a good sweeper. 6 mana is kind of high for a sweeper. Usually you want your sweepers to be 4 mana, but because it does so much, it's not that bad, especially with the exile. Next up is a Tamsy, Reality Architect, which is a 3 mana, 2 colors and a blue, 2/3 legendary Moonpoke Wizard. Whenever 1 or more non-creature permanents are returned to hand, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Then for X and white, return a land you control to its owner's hand. Return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Decent. Very, very decent utility creature. That's some good utility, bringing back artifacts and enchantments from your graveyard to the battlefield. Honestly. Really good. Really good creature. Next, we are looking at Another tribute to Hirobi. We've already discussed this card, so we're going to go ahead and skip it. It is a flying haste 3/3 once you flip it, but you got to give them 2 rats, even though you get the rats back and you can sacrifice them to draw cards. So there's that. All right, down to our last 2 packs. Let's go ahead and see what we pull. Alrighty then. Ooh, that is a mythic. That is a Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, which is 2 colorless and 2 red for a Dragon Spirit legendary. It is a 4 mana 4/4 flying trample. When it dies, you get to exile top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play those cards, or you can create 3 treasure tokens. So when it dies, it practically pays for itself, or you get to get card advantage till your next turn. So this is really, really good. And not to mention the stats are great. I mean, a 4 mana 4/4 flying trample, you can't beat that with a stick. That's a really good card. We were hoping to get a few of those. And our last pack. And here it is, people. And we got another gold wild card. This is Inventive Iteration. It is return up to, it's a saga. For its first tick down, you go return up to 1 target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. 2, return artifact card from your graveyard to your hand if you can't draw a card. So at least it gives you that other effect. And then you, for your third tick, you exile it and transform it into the creature, which is a flying 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, your opponents can't cast spells with the same mana value as that spell until your next turn. That's a very interesting ability. It's a very interesting ability. This is 4 mana to play, and you only get the 3/3 flyer, but that kind of nullify effect plus all the other value you get off the front half. It's okay. It's okay. Might see some play. It's definitely a card. And that's it. That's all the packs we have. So let's go ahead and take a tally of our wild cards here. We have 7 mythic rares, 15 rares, 50 uncommons, and 24 uncommons. So we're going to be building a deck with these wild cards later to showcase some of the cards in Kamigawa. And I'll go through the deck building process step by step so y'all can see how I put together a deck. If you'd like that, tune in next video. Again, my name is Will for Magic the Friendly Tavern. Happy pack pulls, and as always, happy games.